Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. A major missile and drone attack on Ukraine launched by Russia on the 9th of the 20th to the 21st of July 2025. Then we have the Brits claiming that Putin is Europe's warmonger. Not they are, they're not, the Brits. And I picked this article not because of the statement, but because we have some political analysts and scientists and however you want to call experts writing a letter condemning another letter that criticized the assessment of some imbeciles. And the reason why I'm doing this is to show you that it's not the so-called scientific honesty. It is the scientific agenda. With the COVID was the same thing, with Ukraine the same thing. You have certain scientists, political scientists, for instance, professors, experts, analysts, who are going to come and tell you, hey, Putin is the bad guy, and they're going to make the case. And then the other guy can come and say, no, that guy is actually the good guy, and he's going to make the case. How is it possible, with the same set of evidence, to come to different conclusions, opposite conclusions? I tell you how. Agendas. All right, so that's the second topic, and I'm talking about Great Britain. It says that Putin is the warmonger in Europe, but they are sending warships in the China Sea by China. Warships. But no, the Chinese then are going to be the warmongers. And then we have the Germans who are playing this game. The game of, I tell you, I'll meet you tomorrow at noon. And you say, no, Emil doesn't want to meet tomorrow at noon. No, he's not serious about it. I just told you we're going to meet tomorrow at noon. Meet you tomorrow. No, Emil, I'm not coming because you're not coming. I know you're not coming. With this, you don't do anything. You can't do anything. So this is the Germans. The Germans, yesterday I made a video in which both parties, both sides, the communists and the conservatives, which is Alternative for Deutschland, and the socialist parties, urge the imbecile called Merz, who is the Chancellor of Germany, to go and talk to Putin. Talk. Not do anything, just to talk. And Merz says, no, Putin doesn't want to talk. But Putin said over and over and over again, I'm open. Let's talk about it. Let's talk. And he said, no, I don't want to talk with Putin because Putin doesn't want to talk. What is this? This is for baboons, not for us, We are the crème de la crème. All right, and the last topic that I have here is Lukashenko, the president of Belarus, gets a visit from Mr. Kellogg, who is the American envoy to Ukraine. Mr. Kellogg cannot go to Moscow, but he goes to see Lukashenko in Belarus, in Minsk. What's going on here? An opening, a thought in the relations between United States of America and Belarus? I don't think so. I think that is just how the snake gets in your house, slowly, as a friend. All right, let's start with the attack, the Russian major attack on Ukraine. And here you have it. So, Ukrainska Pravda. Saturday, 21st of June 2025. Russia attacks with 280 drones and missiles overnight. Strikes only in Kremenchuk Air Force. So strikes only in Kremenchuk, Air Force reports. Alright, the Russians attack Ukraine with 280 aerial targets on the night of 20 to 21 of June. Strikes were recorded in the city of Kremenchuk, Poltava Oblast, and debris of downed targets fell in 3 locations. So Poltava Oblast, let me show you, is right here. This is Poltava. So this is Ukraine, where the front is in this oblast right here. So the Ukrainians again claim tremendous success against the 280 aerial targets. The Russians attacked with 272 UAVs and 2 Kh-47 M2 Kinzhal hypersonic aeroballistic missiles, 4 Caliber cruise missiles, and 2 Iskander-K cruise missiles. All right, so 2 Kinzhal hypersonic, 2 Iskander, Iskander and Kinzhal can carry nuclear warheads, just so you know, and caliber cruise missiles usually are from the Black Sea, from a submarine or a vessel. I'm talking about a warship. The Air Force reported Ukrainian air defense managed to shoot down 140 UAVs, 3 Iskander-K missiles, 1 hypersonic missile. They were a little bit nicer this time. They didn't say they downed both of them, and 1 caliber missile. They said that 112 drones on Kinzhal, 1 Kinzhal missile, 1 Iskander missile, and 1 caliber missile disappeared from radar. That means they hit the target. So they say usually they did it right here. Again, launched a large-scale combined attack on Kremenchuk in Poltava. So why Poltava? I can't tell you why Poltava. Because really Poltava is not on the front line. It's back here. Nevertheless, that's what they reported. Next, let me tell you how the Brits are reaching conclusions. The scientists, this is according to The Guardian. There is only one warmonger on the European stage, Vladimir Putin. Experts on Russia, Ukraine, and international security respond, so these are experts, respond to a letter that criticized another expert for her assessment of the Russian threats to Britain. So Fiona Hill, she said Putin is evil, Russia is bad, and so on. Then you had some people, a letter, criticize these guys. So the letter was signed by some guys, and these guys, the second letter, the experts, criticized the letter that criticized Fiona. That's how I got it here. So on 13th of June, The Guardian published a collective letter concerning Russia's war and attacking Dr. Fiona Hill, the Chancellor of Durham University and one of the principal authors of the UK's Strategic Defence Review. That's why they will lose, the Brits. They have Fiona. As UK is based in or British educated experts in the matter of pertaining to Russia, Ukraine, and international security, we voice our profound disagreement with a letter by Robert Pika Maka. They say that Dr. Hill represents the warmongering mood of official Britain. So those guys said that Dr. Hill is the warmongering. And the other guys come and say, no, it is Putin. There you go. So this is what I say. In reality, governments and independent experts from across Europe, ourselves included, have reached conclusions very similar to Dr. Hill's, as they are supported by empirical evidence, not least by Putin's own overtly stated aspirations. So they say that right here, they don't start with false premises or mad conclusions. So they say, in reality, the governments of Europe lie as fuck, and independent experts like Institute for the Study of War from America or others, you see how they say they cover one, including ourselves. So how is this possible? I tell you how it is possible. Because these experts, these analysts, what was the first word they used in this? Experts, right? And experts, these boys, reaches the conclusions with the same evidence as the other ones. That tells me some of these lie, or they all lie. To say that Putin is the warmonger and not the Great Britain, let me show you this. First, let's go to another little article pertaining with the same subject. There is only one warmonger on the European stage, Vladimir Putin letter. So the same thing these guys say, and they tell us the same kind of thing, and they are just supported by empirical evidence. Yeah, they support by empirical evidence if you selectively get the empirical evidence. Okay? So you can say, well, I heard it and I smelled it. But did you see it? Oh, we didn't consider seeing it. Or I saw it, but I didn't hear it. Well, seeing is more important than, it's just empirical, existent, objective. So let me show you who's the warmonger right here. The Telegraph. Britain enrages China with patrolling warship in Taiwan Strait. Chinese military criticizes HMS Spey for undermining peace and stability by sailing through controversial waterway. Now, this is it. Let me ask you. First, let's start with the premises. Was that British vessel allowed to go through those straits? I think it's illegal. It's nothing illegal. I think it's international waters over there. It's not China's. I think the distance between Taiwan and China is about 80 kilometers, and your territorial waters are about 15 kilometers. So yeah, all legal. The problem is like this. If I'm here and that's a neighbor over there, and I know you're a piece of work and you don't like me at all, together with your boss, US, Al Capone, and you come here armed, patrolling in front of my house with your weapons like this. What am I supposed to do? Hey, how, Gigi, how are you doing? Yeah, nice to meet you too. I consider it as a threat. Besides, you live on the other side of the planet, but you come here. I don't come over there. You come here. That's exactly how NATO says Russia is the aggressor, warmonger, but NATO went to Russia. It was not Putin going to NATO, it was these guys. But it's like someone comes and attacks you and you defend yourself and you say, oh my God, this guy is this violent guy. Whoa, time out. Chronology of events. How? Let's get all the evidence. Who started it? I tell you who started it. 1991, the start of the NATO expansion towards Russia with the goal of doing what? Accept Russia in NATO? Never. Destroy Russia. So again, Great Britain patrols everywhere, including the Black Sea. But hey, the other guys are the warmongers. The other guys. I mean, this is one example. I can go on and on and on. You want me to start with Mossadegh and Iran? Now we are with Iran. 1953, the British intelligence services and the Americans overthrew a legitimate government of Mossadegh, the prime minister. Why? Because he nationalized their natural resources, oil. He said, no, you can't just take our oil. Now, that was obviously the Western mistake, but I will explain that later. You don't just go over there, you just take it and fuck it. If you are like that, you don't just... This is what the West did. You don't do that. You go over there, take it, and let them live their lives. Their cultures, their tents, whatever, the caravans, sand, wind, dust. You leave them live their thing. Play their thing, the flute, the mandolina, whatever they do. And you take their oil. They don't know what it is anyway. They said we need this oil for that. All right? Well, give them wood. They can have fire over there with the wood. I was about to say something. Did you catch that? Anyway, so that's what I would do if I would really be bad. Take it and leave those guys at that level. And then you're going to always come over there and pack. Right now, look what's going on. These guys are challenging you. The same with China. So right now, what do we have? Anyway, so let's go back to the next guys. Who are the German imbeciles? Reuters. German military deems Russia existential risk to nation and Europe, Spiegel reports. Now, German military doesn't work for Germany's interest. That's what I concluded in my assessment as a baboon, okay? Why? Because these guys were promoted, doors open, and recognized by appointment. Okay? Not by election. But you can say, well, look at Macron. He's elected, isn't he? All right. I'm not going to go to the Chancellor. The Chancellor was not elected. His party got a little bit more than the real party. If you go to Great Britain, Mr. Starmer, again, 20% or something. Unelected personally, if I remember correctly. And they have a king. But they lecture everybody on democracy. Anyway. But it's okay. That's their country. They can do whatever they want. But don't lecture me. Back the fuck off. All right. You can give me some advice if you allow me to give you some advice. But no, you are untouchable, but you can go in my house and arrange my furniture. But I can't come in your house and put new drapes or new blinds. Why? Because you think you're better. Anyway, so German military deems Russia existential risk to nation. First, Mr. Pistorius doesn't work for the Germans, as Miss Ursula Anders von der Leyen that did not, when she was the defense minister of Germany, now supposedly in charge of European Union, another appointed and validated person parachuted in the European Union from a parachuted defense ministry of Germany. She doesn't work for her. She works for other interests, my friends. So if it's an existential risk, what does that mean? Oh my God, I will channel everything to make sure that I am very well protected. Maybe with a preemptive strike. Hey, Russia, why don't you look a little bit to the zone, to the sun a little bit? Okay, yeah. Bang, and then Russia just... What? like a weasel. So that's how they do. Now they try to get everybody to do what? Pay banks, military industrial complex, and energy industry. That's what they do. Banks provide with loans and money to build what? Weapons with what? With energy, with resources. And who's winning? Some guys, some interest. Can you figure out what the interests are? So again, I don't think that's the case, but they scare the Germans and they're still in power. And here you have this imbecile, New Voice of Ukraine. Germany is skeptical of Putin's offer to speak with Chancellor Merz. What else do you want Putin to do? To take a charter plane and land in Munich or in Berlin, wherever you are? What else do you want that guy to do? He said, I'm ready. It was you that stopped talking to him. It was not he who stopped talking to you. That's evidence, facts. Remember when Macron was calling Putin and talking to Putin almost every day? And then that guy in charge of Ukraine, dared to take his snot up and tell Macron, why do you call Putin every day? And Macron, the president of France, says what? Oh my God, Zelensky told me why? Please don't fire me, guys. And he stopped talking to Putin. So that tells you who are those guys. Imagine before Ukraine war. Imagine before that, the Ukrainian president will dare to say to Macron or to Trump or to behave like that in the White House? I don't think so. He would be like, whoop, out, or blown up. So again, he doesn't want to talk to me. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how these guys think that they can get away with this kind of statements. Right there. There is no direct contact with Putin, Cornelius, and the government is convinced that Putin is not genuinely seeking substantive negotiations. Is convinced. By what exactly? Convinced that there's no, that's it. There is it. It's for real like that. Based on what? You didn't even say you want to talk to him, but you are genuinely seeking substantive negotiations. So the ones that don't want to talk to Putin are the ones who really are genuinely seeking for substantive negotiations. But the one who says he wants to talk to you, he's open to talk to you, is the one who doesn't. He's not genuinely seeking. Up is down, down is up, left is right, right is left. The good is bad, the bad is good, and so on. This is the reality of the inversion, my friends. Now we have all these imbeciles as leaders, and they are jackals, baboons, but they are the leaders, and we have to obey them. Why? Because otherwise they, have the, what? Not that. All right, so let's go to the last topic. Ukrainska Pravda, Lukashenko meets with Trump's envoy Kellogg in Belarus. All right there. So this is a legitimization of Mr. Lukashenko, unless they try to give him some fast, how do you call that? Cancer. That's what you see over there, the Mr. Kellogg's left hand, the thumb of the left hand. You see over there, that little thing over there? That tells you something. Now, if you know anything or something about the body language and the handshake and how you come over it and okay, when someone holds your wrist, shakes hands, when someone next move, so the first one is this, boof. I'm not going to go into how you go, it's too long. The second one gets your forearm, it's closer. The next one gets by the arm right here, that's close. The next one is like a little French kiss over there, okay. And the next one is like okay, it's not so good. All right, so the guys went over there to speak with Lukashenko. What does that mean? They give a chance. They recognize the guy as being the leader. So that means these are very, how should I put it? They're willing to cooperate, at least talk to one another. So Alexander Lukashenko, self-proclaimed president of Belarus, has met with Keith Kellogg, U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy for Ukraine in Minsk. Lukashenko greeted Kellogg with the words, "Well, look who it is. Hello, dear friend." The state media reported that the agenda of the talks, including international issues and the overall situation in the world, regional issues, and Belarusian-American relations. Fantastic, good. I like that. I like that. And it says, I'm very pleased to meet you, Mr. General. Because Kellogg is a general. I want to see what Kellogg said. Where is it? He doesn't say, we will not achieve... Lukashenko. I don't see what Kellogg said, my dear friend. Anyway, that's a good thing. Talk to people. That's the first thing. If you don't talk, because you don't want to talk, but you say you want to talk. I don't say I want to talk, but I don't want to talk. What the fuck? You're talking with a certain segment of the society? You know who I mean? And what I mean? All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.